Hey everybody, what's up, the Hood Table fam, and to my Tanya's Primetime TV Media fam. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Make sure you guys share the video, subscribe to the channel, and also like the video, especially like the video. And I'm actually running a little behind here. Excuse me. I was supposed to start this live at like 10 o'clock, then 10:30, then 11 o'clock, then 11:30, then 11:45. So I do apologize for coming in late, but it has been an extremely long day. And when I say extremely long day, I do mean that with all sincerity. It started out this morning. We had to go out of town. And because of the Tyler Ty Thomas murder trial, as the state versus Joshua Keadle, the guy that they are claiming murdered Ty and concealed her body. And today was actually the day of the closing arguments. So the defense and the prosecutors had their time today in court to give their closing statements or their closing arguments. So that started earlier than normal. Normally the court starts at 9 to 5, and this morning they started at 8:30. So we literally had to leave out. I think I left my house around 6 to drive to another city, park my car, jump in a car with somebody else, and head on out of town to the trial to hear the closing arguments today. So that's what we're going to be discussing today, the closing arguments. And actually the closing arguments took about, I want to say 4 hours. Approximately like 4 hours. Is about 2 hours from each side. And also then after that, we took a lunch, like an extended lunch, because the judge knew that once they came back from lunch, he was going to give the instructions to the jury on what charges that they could bring on or find him guilty for, or, innocent. So that took about probably an hour right there. And then the jury spent about 3.5 hours deliberating until about 7 p.m. The judge said, y'all can go home or y'all can finish at 7 p.m. and get back at it tomorrow at 9 a.m. So tomorrow we're going to be back at it at 9 a.m. Down there for to see, if the jury finished deliberating and hopefully hear a guilty verdict, hopefully. But into who, there in the Lincoln Journal-Star was a article today, and I'm just going to read a little bit of what it said. I'm going to probably reiterate a little bit of what it said, but what they said in the article was both sides of Joshua Keadle's murder trial for the killing of a 19-year-old Peru State student who disappeared early December 3rd, 2010, agreed on one thing in closing arguments Wednesday, and that was that Tyler Thomas probably is dead. And that is very sad, very horrible. Defense attorney Matt McDonald said, though, that there was no proof that Joshua actually killed her. They both sides agree that Ty is probably dead. It's been 10 years since her disappearance, so they both agree that Ty is probably dead. Her body has never been found, and their job today was to try to convince the jury that Joshua should be found innocent because there was no body found. And of course, the prosecutors' job today was to convince the jury that even though a body hasn't been found, lots of cases get tried where there's no body found, but because of all the other evidence, they would like them to find him guilty. But again, the defense, they claim that Joshua Keadle is not the cause of her death. The state disagrees. contending that whatever happened between Keadle and Thomas, Keadle decided to kill her. The jury then again, they'll resume at 9 a.m. tomorrow. There's 9 women, 3 men on the jury. Again, they spent 3.5 hours deliberating today over the case after it was wrapped up around 3:30 p.m. And also, Assistant Nebraska Attorney General Doug Warner said Keadle's defense was all a cover-up full of lies and deceit. And before even talking to investigators that same day of Thomas's disappearance, he started looking for alibis to cover up his tracks. So that is what we're going to get into the closing arguments of the trial today. After 3 days of trial, 3 days of interviews and talking to police and investigators, he finally admitted that he had taken Ty down to the river to smoke weed. He said that she wanted to ride to Omaha, and she offered sex in exchange, but then got mad after she did it because he wouldn't take her to Omaha. So they are saying, the defense, he may be a jerk, but you can't convict him for being a jerk. So again, we're going to get into this these closing arguments, and you guys, feel free to comment in the chat. Let me know what you think about anything that I'm saying, or about any of the witnesses, or whatnot. Just let me know how you feel about what I'm going to speak on tonight, if you like, and ask questions if you like. I'll try my best to answer you. Again, unless you were with the media, the news stations, or anybody like that, you could not take a phone in, no computer, no laptop. All we could do is take notes. All I could do was try to write really fast and really accurately and take the best notes I can, which is what I do every time I go to court. So if anybody was there, or something I'm saying is incorrect, or maybe not said correctly, or maybe provide a wrong name, or anything, I always say, correct me, let me know, or ask me, did I mean this or did I mean that? But for the most part, I try to take very, very, very good notes when I'm at court, when I'm taking notes. So anyway, closing arguments started with the prosecutors, of course, and what they're titling this is The Perfect Murder. The perfect murder. They think that Joshua concocted the perfect murder. Again, y'all let me know how y'all feel about anything that I mentioned today. And I think this light is too close. Hold on. Because you can see like the green screen or the light, it's making my teeth look like, see, look. Okay, we'll work it out. But anyway, let me get to my notes so we can get started, because this might take me a minute. Now, again, the defense is calling this the perfect murder. They're saying that Joshua Keadle knew Ty would never be found and used deception for the purpose of protecting himself. They knew the night of Ty's disappearance, that Ty was at 2 different parties. She was at one party at Shariah's house. She was at another party at the baseball house. People described her as being intoxicated that night. And we also know that she was angry with her friend Monica, and they had got into a heated altercation. She actually got into a heated altercation with Monica and also with her other friends. She was angry at Monica, was calling her fake, saying she couldn't trust her, things like that. And she threw a temper tantrum. Their friend Ryan, who is actually Jade's boyfriend. Remember, Jade is Ty's cousin, and Ryan is Jade's boyfriend. Remember, we had spoke about Ryan trying to restrain her by pinning her arms to the wall, and she had got upset and said that she was going to call the cops if he wouldn't release her. She was going to report him to the police. Now, during that restraining, she did again have a temper tantrum. She kicked a hole in the wall trying to get free from Ryan. And also, Monica, after everything that was going on, Monica started having a panic attack, and they took Monica in the, hey Deanna, hey, thanks for tuning in, lady. They had taken Monica into the bedroom, and Ty, they said, after she, kicked a hole in the wall trying to get from being restrained by Ryan, she tried to get into the room to Monica, the person she was fighting with, which was actually her best friend. She had went and tried to get into the room and tried to break the door down. But after that, she left the house. Their friend Dana tried to keep up with her, but Dana, because of her knee brace, she couldn't keep up with her. So nobody really knew after Ty left at the house that night where she went. Also, Ty, they said again, had been drinking, but she wasn't that drunk where she couldn't find her way back to the dorm. And we know that because she was spotted on like several different cameras walking through the campus, on the school's, security cams, walking to her dorms. We also know she only had on jeans and a t-shirt. She again did not have on a coat, just like today is freezing outside, like really freezing. It was really freezing that night when Ty was out walking around upset because she had just gotten a fight with her best friend. Now, this is all again the prosecutor's closing argument. They claim Joshua Keadle, he picked up Ty on Park Avenue down the street from the dorm. Phone records show that Ty called Chloe, her friend, that night, but Chloe didn't answer. Then Ty texts her friends all within minutes, back-to-back messages. She texts Jarrell, her ex-boyfriend, who was in Omaha. She texts Chloe and Dana, her classmates at the dorm. And she told each of them that she was lost and trying to find herself. But they found it strange how Ty was able to actually send all these messages to her friends because of the fact that they claimed she was really, really intoxicated. And they claimed she was drunk. Now, Ty's last Facebook login was on December 2nd. At 1:05 a.m., they said Ty called Chloe and no answer. At 1:24 a.m., Ty texted Jarrell, her ex in Omaha. Ty sent a text, they said like that, like each minute to her friends. They claiming Keadle's timeline is as such. Joshua Keadle, remember he had said to one particular person that he was at a movie in Nebraska City. He was coming back to Peru, and he had asked Jerica, did she want to go to a party that night? And I'm sorry, asked Haley, did you want to go to a party that night? Haley didn't want to go to a party because she was doing homework. She was in a computer lab. She was doing homework. So him, Jacob, and Jerica, when he got back to the dorm, because as far as we know, he was out of town at a movie, but he claims he got back to the dorm. Him, Jacob, and Jerica, they went to the baseball house party, then picked up Morgan, his girl. And they said they saw Ty walking around 1:15 a.m. Now, all three of them, Jacob, Jerica, and Joshua Keadle, they had all planned to go to Jerica's dorm room to smoke weed. But after they all got out of Joshua's car when he pulled up to the door, he peeled off. And nobody knew like where he went or why he peeled off. He just took off. Keep in mind, he was supposed to be smoking weed with them. Now what he claimed later was that he got sick. Did my light just get brighter? They claimed that he had got sick from some Burger King. I don't know why. Let me see if I can change this. Hold on, y'all, because this is really getting on my nerves. Okay, let me see if I can fade this in, because this green screen is making my teeth. Okay, there we go. Is that better? No, I gotta do it the other way. Is that better? I don't know what's going. I don't know what's going on with this green screen. But anyway, y'all. Back to what I was saying. We ain't gonna worry about the green screen. I'll fix it tomorrow. I think my light is too dim. But anyway, he had claimed that he had got sick eating at Burger King and went to his dorm where he stayed for about 15 minutes in the bathroom with diarrhea. This is what he actually told one of his friends that he was supposed to hook up with and go over to her house later that night, but he never showed up. Now, let me go back here. One second. Okay, he had told Jerica initially that he had threw up, took a shower, and then went to bed. But then after that, him, Jerica, and Jacob, they were supposed to hook up and they were supposed to smoke weed at Jerica's house. But this green screen is driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. Hold on, and I just lost my place on my screen. Okay. And then around 1:25 a.m., he claimed that he knocked on Chloe's door. But they was like, why did he knock on Chloe's door? First of all, he said he was sick. His story kept changing. That's what the prosecutors is trying to make the jury realize. His story kept changing. He told one person he got sick from eating at Burger King. He went to his dorm where he stayed 15 minutes in the bathroom with diarrhea. He also told somebody else that he was in Nebraska City driving back from a movie. He also asked another girl or texted another girl. Her name was Haley. She was actually studying that night in the computer lab, and she was studying. He hit her up and asked her, was she going to the party? So all these different, they said he was trying to set up an alibi. That's basically what he was doing. So these people could think that he was here, he was doing this, he was doing that. Instead of with Ty. So around 1:25 a.m., after he was sick in the bathroom, he knocked on Chloe's door, but they didn't know why, because the thing is, he didn't really associate with them. They all lived on the same floor, but they were kind of basically strangers. They didn't really mess with Josh. He didn't really mess with them. But again, they said he needed an alibi. So he knocked on their door. Remember, he said, what's cooking? What y'all cooking? It smells really good over here. They weren't cooking anything. They were not cooking anything. He said he smelled food. They weren't cooking anything. The ladies told him that they couldn't find Ty and they were going to look for her back at the party. So they went and they retraced their steps. They went back to Shiraz. They went back to the baseball house parties. No Ty. They asked around. People said, she had got upset, said she was going back to Omaha and she was going to find a way to Omaha. So for some reason, they assumed, okay, maybe she did try to find a way back to Omaha. At that time, though, they was like, where was Joshua Keadle? And can they actually believe that he was really in his room sick with diarrhea when he said he was? Because keep in mind, he was intending to go. Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, keep in mind, he also told this to the investigators that he was going to go smoke with Jacob and Jerica, smoke weed. He dropped them off at the dorm and he peeled out, took off. They like, where he going? Why he leaving? Why he peeling out like that? They went on about their business. For some reason, he left. Now, Ty's phone during that time, when they were looking for her phone was still hitting hot spots near the dorms. So they know that she was still near the dorms there, or either her phone was still just near the dorms. Again, Ty was intoxicated. She was impaired. She was alone. She didn't have no coat. She was vulnerable. And even though Ty and Keadle had a combative relationship, Keadle claims that Ty saw him that night leaving the dorm on Park Avenue or Park Street. At 2:09 a.m., he was spotted at the Peru Bank camps heading south. He claims he had went home to take a shower to wash off Ty's DNA as well. He claimed that Ty had threatened to say he tried to rape her down at the river. Then Jade came to his door and asked, has he seen Ty? He said no. At that time, when he first started keeping people away from the river, he knew where Ty was all along. He knew where Ty was all along. When they first started looking for Ty, he comes knock on their door talking about, I smell food. Ain't no food. They see him on the cams heading south. He was at the river. Then they see him again. They see him twice, by the way, and he was heading south at the river. They still was like, well, from this cams, why would we see you several times heading south, but not heading back the same direction? We're going to get into that. But they claim that he knew where Ty was all along the entire evening. He was trying to keep people away from the river. At 3:15 a.m., again, like I just said, Josh was seen again on the Peru bank cams and again heading south. He claims he went back to the river because he was concerned about Ty because Jade and them still couldn't find her. And again, he didn't tell Jade that he was with Ty and left her at the river. They mentioned that this is the prosecutors. They mentioned that a killer will always return to the scene of the crime, which is generally the way it goes. That's generally how it goes. Keadle then said on his way back from the river, he took a left to a back roads towards Auburn and the cemetery. Then he also claimed he texted Jerica to see if she wanted to come with him to look for Ty, but Jerica said no. Jerica doesn't even like Ty. Again, these are alibis that he kept in contact with people, texting this person, I'm sick, texting this person, do you want to come with me to look for Ty? Texting this person, he was drunk, he threw up, he got in the shower to clean up, he couldn't come over like he was supposed to. So all these different people had these different alibis for him, none of them being with Ty at the time. So he claimed he texted Jerica to see if she wanted to go with him to look for Ty. Jerica said no. Jerica had actually mentioned when she was questioned that she was about to go look for Ty. She don't even really like Ty. And he claimed after he searched the cemetery, he went back to the dorm. But they said, why take the back road to Auburn? Because it really makes no sense. He claims he just took a wrong turn. Twice. Because they got him on the cams twice near the bank going south. But when he was returning, he didn't come back the same direction, which would be actually normal and much easier to come back the same way, besides going the way that he went, the back road, which put him on the back part of the cemetery. So anyway, we're going to get back to that cemetery in a minute. Now, Jade, Chloe, and Ryan were still out looking for Ty, and then Keadle, he comes back. By that time, the police is looking for Ty. The state troopers is also looking for Ty. Keadle was actually arrested, by the way, on October 17th for murder. After he was arrested, they played for us part 1 and part 2 of the Keadle interview with the police. That was Thursday of last week. That night in questioning, again, Keadle had claimed that he intended to go smoke with some of his friends. That would be Jacob and Jerica. They also had asked him along, during the interview, why they can't find Ty's phone. They started talking to him about how amazing technology is. They started talking to him like they could actually track his phone and Ty's phone. Now, up until December 6th, he kept denying that he was with Ty. Then on December 7th, he actually confessed. They claim the only reason that he actually confessed was because they had told him, about modern technology. They could track his phone. They could find out if he was with Ty, where they phones ping, stuff like that. And they claim he finally confessed as well because he really didn't know how much they knew by then. He was under the impression that they could track his phone. So he didn't know if they tracked the phone yet. or if they were in the process of getting the phones tracked. He didn't know that, but his entire story version, it just changed. He went from lying, saying he wasn't with her, he hasn't seen her, her cousins, her friends are looking for her, state troopers and the police are looking for her, and he ain't told nobody that it was a possibility he was the last person to be with Ty down at the riverbanks. Until, of course, they mentioned tracking his phone. So he denied being with Ty a total of 16 times. His story again changed from he never left his room because of diarrhea to I went to the river with Ty. He told somebody he was actually at the movies in Nebraska City. He told somebody else that he had actually got drunk, threw up on himself, took a shower, and then went to bed. All these different storylines, all these different alibis per se that he was trying to create to distract them from the river. Anything he could to keep them from going to the river. Mind you, by the time he actually confessed, it had been like 4 days since Ty had been missing. 4 days since he was with her at the river. They kept giving him chance after chance to tell the truth. They actually was encouraging him to tell the truth. They were like, we can text your phone. We can find out if he was with her. But, they kept trying to get him out using, the Reed technique, trying to investigation, trying to get him out so he could just confess and just be like, okay, I was with her. This happened, whatever. But anyway, he finally confessed after, believing that they could track the phones down. So he confessed to dropping his friends off. And then after he dropped his friends off, who he was actually supposed to be smoking with, they was all on their way to go smoke some weed. But he dropped his friends off and peeled out. He saw Ty walking towards him. Ty ended up getting in his car, in his SUV. He claims she jumped in the back seat. He claims she started begging him to take her to Omaha, but he refused for one reason, because she didn't have any money. For another reason, he just didn't want to drive to Omaha that night. The thing that just got me was like when he was being interviewed and he started talking about what they did at the boat dock. And he was like laughing and giggling and like it was a joke, like it was funny. I mean, when he was telling them, I told Ty that I wasn't taking her to Omaha. But then she started playing with his ear, flirting with him. Mind you, them two is like oil and water. They never got along. They had a combative relationship. He would always cuss her out, calling her all kind of bees, and she would be cussing her out. And plenty of people testified they never, ever have got along. And they never, hung around each other or nothing. So all of a sudden, she needs a ride to Omaha. And all of a sudden, he says no, and she offers to give him sex. He claims that she offered to give him sex and also, was playing around with him, like flirting with him, touching on his ear, all kind of stuff, being flirtatious or whatnot. And then he starts saying, well, okay, sex, okay. But then she said then she said she was on her period, on her menstrual. And he was like, well, there's something else that you can do when you're on your menstrual. He was talking about a blowjob. She claims she didn't know how to do it, or she does not do stuff like that. And then he was like, well, can we negotiate? This is what he claims. Can we negotiate? They negotiated into her giving him a hand job. This is what he claims. But in the process of him leaning back, taking down his pants, telling her, yeah, blowjob will work. I mean, a hand job will work from now, as long as we have sex later when you're not on your menstrual. So in that process, he claims that she said, do not get anything on me. Remember, we talked about this before the other day. She said, do not get anything on me. He claimed he had some brown, those like brown paper towels, napkins that you get like at the grocery store, the gas station, He claims he had some of them in the middle console of his car, and that he told her, I'll just, ejaculate, finish up on the paper towels. After that happened, he claims he threw those particular paper towels that he used out of the window, out of the car. Um, he also explained that she was having troubles using her phone, and the prosecutors believe that she was probably having trouble using her phone because she was really intoxicated. And so she asked him to open her phone to unlock her phone, and he did. She gave him the passcode so that he can unlock the phone, and that is what he did. Then he claimed he got out the car, walked to the back of the car. Mind you, as I said before the other day, when he parked at the boat dock, he kind of drove in, turned around, backed the car up near the water. So the back of his SUV was like probably 10, 15 feet away from the water. He got out, went behind his truck by the boat dock, by the river, by the river's edge, and proceeded to smoke his weed. And then he said he had a thought like, I ain't taking her back to Omaha, so he told her. He claimed she then got mad and got out the car and, was upset. Started talking about, you told me you was taking me to Omaha, quit playing with me. He said she got really aggressive, started swinging at him. He claims he was backing up, trying to get away from her, stuff like that while she was, going off. He also claims she threw her phone at him, towards him. His back was towards the water. They was right by the river's edge. So he said he turned around and he looked and he didn't see the phone. We don't know if the phone went in the water. We don't know if the phone went in the bushes. We don't know if she really threw the phone at that point. Then he claims that he went to the car, he opened the door, and he said, either get in or I'm going to leave you here. Then he claims that she said, F you, I will walk all the way to Omaha. So he said he went back to the dorm. When he got back to the dorm, he claimed he heard that she was missing. And that's when he claims Jade, which is Ty's cousin, who attends Peru as well, knocked on the door. The prosecutors are alleging that that Josh really, really wasn't too concerned about her getting back to the dorm. Main reason why, if his story even is real, like he took her to the river to smoke. Mind you, him, Jacob, and Jerica was all headed to her house, Jerica's house, to smoke. But they had heard that Ty, they had seen Ty walking on the way to Jerica's house. They had all seen Ty walking. He dropped off Jacob and Jerica, and they said he peeled out, and they didn't know where he went. Next thing we know, he confesses later after lying for like 3-4 days that he didn't see her, that he wasn't with her and all this. He confessed that when he dropped them off, he was driving towards the river to go smoke weed. Right after you made plans to smoke with Jacob and Jerica, then you decided not to smoke with them. You was going to go all the way to the river to smoke. And on the way, Ty, she was walking. She runs up to your truck. She jumps in the back car. She begs you to take her to Omaha. This is his story. If his story was true, and if what really happened is what he said, like when Ty got upset, this is what he's claiming. When Ty got upset, he claimed she threw the phone at him. She was cussing him out. She was acting aggressive. She was swinging at him. She even stated that if he didn't take her, she was going to say that he tried to rape her. Now, if his story is true, if he didn't have sex with Ty, why wouldn't you, like, he had Jay's phone number. He had her cousin's phone number. He knew, the phone number to her relative who was at the same school. Why wouldn't you call Jade and let her know Ty is up here, whoop, 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 even if she threatened to report that he tried to rape her? Because for one, if he didn't have, like he told the police, there would be no DNA in her, her area, her private area. He said because of him jacking off, I mean, like holding himself or whatever, cleaning himself up, Ty jacking him off. He claimed that he did actually put his hand down inside her pants, in the back of her pants. And he said if you find any DNA on her, it would just be there. So if you didn't rape her, you don't have no DNA inside her, none of that stuff. Why would you be afraid to let somebody know Ty was down there? Because if the police came and got you, this is what the defense is, trying to prove. That if they came down there and if Ty even went to the police and said he tried to rape her, after they did like a rape kit and stuff like that and found no signs of, you would have been vindicated. You know what I mean? So, but he claims he didn't tell nobody. He lied for 3-4 days. Didn't tell anybody he was down there with Ty. Didn't tell nobody he was probably the last person to see Ty. All because he was afraid that Ty would turn around and say he tried to rape her. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, they claim that he really didn't care about her. He really didn't care about her well-being, her safety. It was freezing cold down at the Missouri River edge. She didn't have no coat on. She didn't have no gloves on. He claimed she threw her phone, and when he looked back, he didn't see her phone. So for all we know, she didn't have her phone at the river's edge. This is what the prosecutors are saying. So now, the night that this all happened, remember from my last review, Jade and Chloe at the party, they saw a really, really, really drunk cheerleader. They took that cheerleader home to her dorm. The cheerleader threw up on herself. They cleaned her up. They took her clothes off. They put her in some clean clothes. They put her in the bed, and they sat there and waited. They claimed it took a while. They waited for her roommate to come home. They said that's what an honorable person would do if they saw somebody truly intoxicated. That is not what Josh did. He didn't do an honorable thing, like making sure Ty, even if they were arguing and Ty was swinging at him, he could have easily called 911. He could have called Jay. He could have called anybody and said, come down here, get your crazy cousin. She going off. She don't want to get in the car. She talking about walking all the way to Omaha. She ain't got no coat, no gloves, no hat, no scarf. And, he could have done any of that, but he didn't. He claims he left her there in the middle of the night. And on top of that, the police asked him, why did he really shower? Because he told somebody he was drunk, he threw up on himself, and he showered, and that's why he couldn't go over this female house. He lied to her and told her he was drunk, he threw up on himself, and he took a shower. The police said, why did you really take a shower? He said it was because he wanted to make sure there was no DNA on him. He actually told the police that he wanted to make sure there was no DNA on him because of the fact that he thought Ty was going to accuse him of trying to rape her. Now, also, they describe how Ty is not a weak woman. When she does or when she has got into it with people, she always stood up for herself. Just like that night with Ryan, when Ryan was trying to restrain her, she stood up to Ryan, threatened to call the cops if he wouldn't, let her go, wouldn't leave her alone. We also know that Keadle had kept a gun in his car, which was actually illegal because he was on school campus. And on school campus, you can't have any weapons like that. They're not allowed. Again, Ty had nothing with her, no coat, no purse, no ID, no social security card, no student ID, no birth certificate. She had nothing with her, just jeans and a t-shirt that freezing night in December. Now, when they had Josh walk them through what happened from what he claims that night, he took them down to the river and walked them through what happened. He tried to act then that he was all concerned about Ty. Like, oh, I was looking over here and I came down here and I was like, Ty, Ty, yelling and screaming, Ty, where are you? All that kind of stuff. But they was like, how could you be this concerned now, 3-4 days later, but you weren't that concerned 3-4 days ago when she was out here in the middle of the night, no coat, no purse, no nothing, freezing cold, and you just left her here because you thought that she was going to try to say you raped her. So they've proven that he really didn't care about her safety and that he never ever intended for her to leave that river. He didn't call Jade. He didn't call the police. He didn't tell anybody. All those days, every time he was questioned and interviewed, he didn't tell anybody that he was with Ty that night at the river again until they said that they could track his phone and her phone. Now, on the way from the river, he went left. Again, remember the two camera shots showed he went south. That's where he was headed, south to the river. It didn't show him returning. He claims that he took the wrong turn on the way back. That would have happened twice. Because on the way from the river, he claimed he went left on the back road by the VFW to Highway 67 to Auburn, where he ended up on the backside of a cemetery. He also claimed he accidentally, again, took the wrong turn. But he claimed also later that he always goes down there to smoke. So you took a wrong turn. That explains why on the cameras, they didn't see him coming back twice that night. He went 2 times the same direction to the river. Instead of coming back the normal way that he normally comes back, he went the back way on back roads ended up behind the cemetery. He said he didn't think when he took Ty down to the river that she would get that upset because he wouldn't take her to Omaha. They said he also described her phone in really good detail because of the fact he knew how to use it. He knew how to lock it. Ty had told him she was having trouble, unlocking her phone again. She was really intoxicated. So she gave him the code and he opened up her phone. Then they asked him, you sure your DNA wouldn't be in her, area? And he said, all I did was touch, put my hands down the back of her pants and touch her butt. If y'all find any DNA from me, that's the only way you're going to find it is on the back of her, her butt. They also asked would they find any injuries, any bruises, like choking. He said no. Now, timeline. 2:13 a.m. Keadle texted Jerica that he was sick. 2:16 a.m. Keadle, he told Jerica he threw up, took a shower, went to bed. 4:05 a.m. Josh got a text from Jade saying they still can't find Ty. They claim Keadle had no reason at all to go to the river to smoke because he had already planned to smoke with Jacob and Jerica at Jerica's dorm. He could have smoked with them. That's where they were headed. When they left the party, they were all in the car. They had their weed. They copped their weed. They said they found some weed that night. They was going to Jerica's house to smoke weed. But on the way, they passed Ty and saw her walking. All of a sudden, he's no longer going to smoke weed with them. He drops them out. He peels out. Ty sees him again. She jumps in his car and begs him to take her to Omaha. Instead, he took her to the river, where he claimed he went to smoke some weed. He went to the river the second time, they claim, to make sure no evidence was left behind. He went to the river the third time, they claim. Remember, he said he was there in the daylight. He went the next day. That was also when Jade saw him, because remember, Jade and them was looking for her all through the night. They stopped police. They stopped troopers. They calling all around trying to find Jade. When it became daylight, Jade was like, come on, it's light. Let's go, her and Chloe, we're going to go find my cousin Ty. They went all over the city, all over Peru. They drove 7 miles this way, 7 miles this way. They went everywhere. Retraced all her steps everywhere. The only two places that they didn't go was the river, and they didn't go to the cemetery. And that's what they later told Josh, because Josh claims the reason why he went back there the second time was because Jade and them told them they looked everywhere, but they didn't look at the river and they didn't look at the cemetery. And they were going to wait till the morning to go look again. So Josh claimed that's why he went to look the second time. But the prosecution claimed he went the first time there to kill her. He went the second time there to make sure there was no evidence left behind. Then the next morning, he went the third time there. And when he was there, Jade and them at that time drove past and they said, "What are you doing here? Why are you out here? Why are you by the river?" And he told them he was there to smoke weed. But again, he never mentioned to Jade that he was with Ty that night. Like, everybody was looking for Ty. He knew he was with her that night, and he didn't tell nobody. He got these people ripping and running all over the city. They calling in the FBI. They calling in the police, the troopers. The state troopers. Everybody is looking for Ty. And he had all those opportunities to say, "I was with her. We was at the river. I left her at the river." So he says he left her there early in the morning. That's what he claims to the police. Now, they said this is the Keadle cover-up. Joshua Keadle, the one they accused him for murder. They said the Keadle cover-up was the early morning on December 3rd, 2010. He was not sick. He lied. He used the sickness of diarrhea to act like he never left his room. He concealed from Jade, Chloe, and Ryan that he took Ty to the river. He deceived Jade by telling her Ty was in her room. Remember when Jade and them was out looking for Ty? He came back to the dorm and he texted them, said, "Oh, I hear voices coming from Ty's room. Y'all need to come and check and see if it's her in there." They tell him, "Stay right there. We're on our way." They go back to the room, knock on the door. It ended up being Ty's roommate and her boyfriend in there. No Ty. It ended up being, Ty's roommate and Ty's roommate's boyfriend in there. So no Ty. He told his friend Jacob that if anybody asked for him, he was with him all night. But remember, he peeled off after he dropped off Jacob and Jerica at Jerica's house. He peeled off. They had no idea where he went. They didn't know where he went. Come to find out later, when he finally confessed, he was with Ty at the river. But he told Jacob to lie and say he was with him all night. He meets up with Jade and Chloe on Olive Road, where they see him by the river. They like, "What the heck you doing out here?" "I'm out here just smoking some weed." Again, he never told them he saw Ty and that he was with her that night before at the river. He also asked his other friend Jason to keep his gun, because remember, he had a gun that he kept in his car. He couldn't keep it in a dorm. It wasn't even allowed on campus, period, but he kept it in his car. He asked his friend Jason to keep his gun and to hide it from him. Jason said no. He was like, no. But Josh claimed that he asked him to hold his gun and hide it from him because he was scared that he might get kicked off a campus, might get kicked out of school for having a gun. Another alibi he tried to use was with his friend Seth Sejkora. I might be saying that last name wrong. Sejkora. It was actually his roommate. He asked him also to give him an alibi. December 5th, he continued to give false stories of Ty's whereabouts, and he even did it in a written statement with the investigators. December 6th, investigator Monty Lovelace questions him. He gives him the same lies. He had everybody, Ty's cousin, her friends, the investigators. He kept everybody away from the river for more than 3 days by not telling them that him and Ty was at the river that night and he left her there. So he claims. They didn't tell him about being able to track her phone and his phone, and that's when he confesses to being with her that night. December 7th, Joshua initially denied being with Ty at the river, but then told a totally different story once they threatened, well, not really threatened, but told him that they could track his phone. Then he changed his story and said he dropped off Jerica and Jacob, who he was supposed to go smoke weed with at Jerica's house. He drove down the street, saw Ty, she jumped in the car. You know, the whole story that we've been saying over and over again. And they ended up at the river. They again thinks he only confessed because, they said that they could track his phone. So the prosecutors is seeking first-degree murder. That's what the state is seeking. They claim that Joshua's plan was to intentionally kill Ty, conceal her body. He fabricated evidence, he concealed evidence, and he covered it up. They claim this is the perfect murder. The perfect murder, they said, you don't leave any evidence. You successfully conceal the body, which they say he did at the Missouri River. They claim the river, the Missouri River is really deep. A lot of us, in Omaha, we know that because the Missouri River also goes through here, through Carter Lake, through Council Bluffs. So we know all about the Missouri River. And it flows south. So they claim that he put her in the river. It's really deep. It flows south. And he was convinced that by the time the 7th came, her body was long gone. He also, remember, told police, he finally confessed, that he really took a shower to remove any DNA from Ty because he thought she might really accuse him of trying to rape her, like she threatened. He claimed she threatened to say that he raped her if he wouldn't take her to Omaha. That's what he claims. Keep in mind, before he had told his other friend who he was supposed to go over her house that he got drunk, he threw up on himself, and he took a shower and he was going to bed. That's what he said, even though he was supposed to smoke weed with him that night. So he said that he had diarrhea and stayed in his room for 15 minutes to distance himself from the location of Ty. And again, remember, Ty and Josh had a combative relationship. They believe that she would have never voluntarily had sex or any kind of sexual interaction with him like he claimed she did that night, just to get a ride back to Omaha. That's what they claim. Now, the defense, they're telling the jury, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Josh murdered Ty. Mainly, their closing arguments have to deal with Ty's Facebook post. So that's mainly what they did. They were trying to make Ty seem like she was depressed, she was stressed, she was, pregnant in college. They claimed that she was, matter of fact, they claimed that by the time that Ty disappeared, she was like 5 months pregnant. But a lot of people around there claim that Ty was very intoxicated that night. Keadle claimed that Ty told him she couldn't have sex with him because she was on her period. She's on her period, she claims. Everybody else knows that Ty was drinking and drunk as heck that night. And then they say that Ty had told people that she was pregnant. And at that time, she was actually 5 months pregnant. Now, there's a video. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. A friend of mine made a video. He put together all these pictures of Ty, all these special moments of Ty, and you can see a lot of the photos where Ty was a very small woman. She was like 90 some pounds. She was very small, like 108, I think 108 pounds. And in most of her pictures, her stomach was really, 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 really like flat, like a board flat. And then in some of the pictures later down the timeline, her stomach was protruding. It did look like she could possibly be pregnant. It really did look like that. So they assuming that from the people that she told that she was pregnant, that she was really, really pregnant. But Keadle again claims that night she told him she was on her period. And that's why she couldn't have sex with him. This is what he's claiming. But why would Ty say she's on her period if she's 5 months pregnant? I don't know. And then they never really had proof of her being on her period, like being pregnant, like no hospital records, no hospital visits. Ty didn't have a car. Every time she had to go to Omaha or anywhere else, she had to ask her friends to take her, or her family or somebody came down to Peru to get her, or she called rides, with somebody. So she didn't have like transportation to go to doctor's appointments, anything like that. So they really had no proof that she was really, really pregnant at all. So it's a lot of really unanswered questions that could never be truly answered because Ty is no longer here. She's no longer here. So the defense starts off talking about Ty's Facebook post from July to December 2010. A lot of Ty's Facebook posts, they were saying, were made out of being stressed. They claim that she might have had mental issues. They claim that she was probably bipolar. They claim that she, stressed out, depressed. This is what the defense is trying to say based off of some of her Facebook posts. They also believe, the one thing that the defense and the prosecutors actually both believe and agree on, that Ty is most likely dead by now. She disappeared the night of December 2nd, going into the early mornings of December 3rd. It's been 10 years. It'll be 10 years this year because it was December 2010. So they both agree on one thing, that Ty is most likely dead. But the defense is like, okay, to the jury, you have no proof. They have no proof that Joshua actually killed her. They claim he made a bad judgment leaving her at the river, but you can't convict him for being a jerk. They claim Joshua was with Ty for no more than 22 minutes. And could you really kill somebody in 22 minutes? That's what they're trying to make the jury think, like 22 minutes. Is that enough time to kill somebody, to try to rape them, to, and I'm thinking in my head the whole time while I'm in court, like, you can do a lot in 22 minutes to somebody, especially keep in mind, Ty only weighed like a $105 soaking wet. Josh, if you look at the pictures in the news right now of his trial, he lost at least a good 100 pounds because at that time he used to play football for Nebraska. He had went to different colleges and had, was hopping college to college and stuff, and so he was big, like he was really big. Like if you look up his court case where he got convicted for sexual assault on the 15-year-old a few years after Ty's disappearance, he's really, really bigger than what he is now. So he done lost a lot of weight from being in prison for like the last 8 years. He went to prison in like 2012 for sexual assault against a 15-year-old girl. So he's actually still should be in prison, but because of this trial, he's up here in Beatrice, Nebraska, instead of in Fremont, where he was convicted for sexual assault. When he gets out of this trial, if he is found guilty or even innocent, he still got to go back to Fremont and finish his time for the sexual assault against a 15-year-old girl. But anywho, I throw that in there for those of y'all who might have forgot that he actually did go get 10 to 15 years for sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl. And by the way, that girl was drunk. He took advantage of her while he was drunk. Ty, the night she disappeared, she was drunk. The prosecutors claim he took advantage of Ty because she was drunk and killed her. Okay, so back to the defense. They saying you cannot convict him for just being a jerk, for making a bad decision, for leaving her down at the river by herself. They actually believe, and y'all let me know, especially y'all been following this story. They actually trying to convince the jury that they believe Josh left her down there. He, in fact, indeed did leave her down there by herself in the middle of the night. No coat, no purse, no ID, no nothing. In December at the Missouri River. Left her there in the middle of the night. Drove off. Just left her there. And she got hypothermia, got disoriented, and fell in the river. Or she was suicidal and jumped in the river. That's what the defense tried to make the jury believe. I was like, what in the world? Like, Ty was left at the river and she just stood there by the river until she froze to death and then fell in the river. Or she was suicidal, trying to make us believe that she was suicidal and she just jumped in the river. After wanting to go back to Omaha, she just jumped in the river and committed suicide. Now, they said another scenario is that Josh could have killed her, but they claim there's no evidence. So they have to throw that scenario out because there's no evidence, there's no body. They claim there's no DNA, not at the camp area, not at the boat dock area, not in his truck. They claim there was no DNA. But remember, Josh said that they didn't have sex. He wanted sex, but she said she was on a period. Then he wanted a blowjob, but she said she don't do that stuff. Then he settled for a hand job. That is what he's claiming. That's what he's claiming. You go all the way from sex to a hand job. I don't know. But anyway, the defense is saying Ty sent those text messages to her friends. Remember, the text messages were back to back to back. They're trying to convince the jury that Ty actually sent the text messages, although the defense was trying to convince the jury that Josh actually had Ty's phone. Remember, he had the lock code. He had the unlock code because Ty couldn't figure out her phone because she was intoxicated, and she gave him her phone and said, "Could you please unlock my phone?" because she's intoxicated. They claiming that it's a possibility that she wasn't able to text accurately to all the friends that she was texting to. And her message was, "I'm lost and I'm trying to find myself." She texted the same message to all her friends. "I'm lost. I'm trying to find myself." So the defense is trying to say Ty really sent the messages, not Josh. They also said that they believe that Ty really wasn't lost and that she was faking and trying to gain pity and sympathy because of the fact that she wanted to go back to Omaha after arguing and fighting with her best friend. And she wanted somebody to have sympathy on her and take her to Omaha. This is what the defense is claiming. And I'm still looking like, are you serious? Like, I don't know. This is what they came behind the prosecutors with in their closing argument. Child. But anyway, they said also that yeah, she was trying to get sympathy for her friends to get a ride back to Omaha. They also mentioned how Aaron and his girlfriend had seen Ty walking that night, and Aaron's girlfriend said it was at like I think she said it was like 1:15. And they mentioned how from Ty's Facebook post that they think she might have been stressed about, this is the defense. They mentioned how from Ty's Facebook post that they think she might have been stressed about being pregnant and because she was messing with allegedly several different men. They actually think, remember the guy that I told you about, Nick? He had testified that they really didn't have a relationship. They weren't like boyfriend, girlfriend. But the defense is saying that they believe Nick lied. And they believe that Nick is actually the father of Ty's baby. We don't even have proof that Ty was really even pregnant, but they believe that Nick lied. And because of some certain Facebook posts that we'll get into, because of certain Facebook posts that they said Ty put on Facebook. They said September she was 3 months pregnant. She told a friend she was 3 months pregnant. They believe by the 29-year-old man, Nick. And remember, Ty was 19 at that time. Ty had actually, around that time, text somebody, they said by the name of BG, and said, "Are you already tired of me?" And after reading posts on her Facebook and and text messages, they think that the posts either are about, because she never really on her Facebook post, when she's writing all these different Facebook posts, she never really said who she was referring to. It was always you, why, me, she was expressing herself and expressing what people have done to her, but she never said names. So they said it was either she was speaking about Nick, Brendan, or Jarrell. Now, Nick was the guy that they think was the father of her baby, the 29-year-old man. Brendan, remember, was Josh's roommate. He used to date Ty. Jarrell was also used to date Ty, who lived in Omaha. Remember, he was at work that night. He got pulled over, so he had an alibi. And Ty, he was one of the people that Ty supposedly texted that she was lost and trying to find herself. So the defense is trying to make it seem again like Ty had all these different relationships. She was pregnant by somebody. And then also they think that she wasn't quite sure who she was pregnant by. They saying that they think she was bipolar and mental, because some of the posts, like one day on Facebook, she had posted, "I broke up with my boyfriend." The next day she had said, I'm engaged. So one day she said, "I broke up with my boyfriend" on Facebook. The next day they said she posted that she's engaged. And they were like, is Ty serious? Is she joking? Or does she really have mental issues? On November 9th, the defense claimed this is when Ty started to decline. She had a Facebook post saying she's breaking down and telling people not to text her, that she's going to cry herself to sleep. So they were again like, is she having some kind of emotional trauma? This is what the defense, their whole defense is that Ty was an emotional wreck, suicidal, bipolar. I mean, I could go on with some of the stuff that they were saying about her, and they were basing it off her Facebook posts. And mind you, some of these Facebook posts were actually lyrics from songs, and we were thinking, some of the friends and fans, the supporters of Ty, a lot of times people write songs lyrics on their Facebook page. It doesn't mean that they're suicidal if they writing like, I don't know, if they writing like what's that song, 7 whole days and not a word from you, Tony Braxton. I'm just saying, in general, if somebody writes some sad love song lyrics on their page, it doesn't necessarily mean they're suicidal. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, moving right along. Their whole motion, or their whole purpose, was to try to prove to the jury that Ty was an emotional wreck. On November 11th, I'm getting to these Facebook posts. Go on. Slowly. Did I say November 11th? I didn't mean November. Yeah, that was November 11th. Okay, hold on, y'all. The computer going really slow, really slow. I gotta go through all these, and then it's like, it's 2020, right? Ty was last seen in 2010. But you know how some people, they keep some loved ones of people, they keep their Facebook up, so people can look back and see their posts and see pictures and for memories. And then people also can post, like a lot of the posts over the last 10 years have been from her friends and family, and they're expressing how much they miss her, they care about her. When her birthday comes around, when the holidays come around, they're just expressing, how they feel about Ty and their love for Ty. So that's so to find the post that she made way back in 2010, you have to scroll all the way back to 2010, and I'm almost there, so you guys just bear with me. And also make sure you guys are liking the video. I can't see the likes right now, but make sure on your way in you like the video, share the video. If you are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel, please, and thank you very much. And you can follow us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter. Facebook is where I normally post a lot of posts like upcoming events, upcoming interviews, upcoming reviews or commentary that we're going to be doing on the Hood Table channel. So with that being said, I'm in November, so I'm about to read you the post that because the defense, they listed off several posts that they thought might reflect Ty's mental status at the time, including her maybe being bipolar or, you know, whatever they could think of to explain what really happened to Ty and that Keadle didn't kill Ty. So on November 11th, the prosecutors say they think that she's talking to Jarrell or Nick. The post says, I am so done trying to pour my heart out and not get the very exact thing back in return. If this was real love, I wouldn't feel this way now. I'm not coming back to Omaha to visit nobody but family when I feel like it, which will probably be a while before I return here. And then it says, I'm not myself right now with exclamation points. Now, they claim that she was probably talking to Jarrell or Nick because them are the two that live in Omaha. Her other ex, Brendan, he actually lives in the dorm with Josh. So that's why they think that she was talking to either Nick or Jarrell. Another post they mentioned, November 12th, she's telling her friend, she's talking about her drinking. So on November 12th, she says, you know what? I can use a drink right now. But now, oh Lord, okay. I'm reading teenager writing. You know what? I can use a drink right now, but now not even lying. The old me ready to unleash. Bullshit you not. Thinking I want some vodka or something hard as fuck. Somebody said it's too early to be drinking. Call me if you wanna. Ty says, hell nah, it ain't that early. This is when I start. You crazy, laugh out loud. I'm sick of dealing with people when I don't want to, but I got type that shit. Somebody else says it's only 11 a.m. It's a little early for that. And Ty says, nope, not at all. It's not too early to be drinking. The defense also at that point tried to convince the jury that Ty's friends were probably minimizing Ty's problems, especially when it comes to the drinking. Like they weren't really being honest with investigators and stuff, you know, when they were describing how Ty acts or how she behaves or about her drinking or anything like that. They were saying that they think her friends minimized Ty's problems. Now, on November 12th, another post they brought up on November 12th, it says, excuse me. I'm sorry, was that November 12th they said? Okay, yeah, we already read that one. Okay, November 15th. Okay, the next post is November 15th. We're going to go up to the 15th. One of the posts said, going to bed, exclamation point, exclamation point. Another post on that same day said, when I'm going... Question, when I'm going to let him get these, never, son. I don't get down like that. I don't know. Another post on November 15th. Question, what do I think about them? To be honest, I don't know you that well. I mean, you seem cool for the small talks we had. We cool as friends. Another post that same day. Question, why? Because I don't want to. WTF for what the F? Laugh out loud. November 15 again. If I was single and we got together, do I think he'll make me happy? A, to be honest, I think you would have to a certain point, but then again, I don't know. November 15th, same day. Thinking of things to do this weekend. Movies. Yes. I don't know. Anything else? I'm going to be an Omaha guy, so think with me. Ha ha ha. November 15th, another post. So stressed out. Ugh. She made a lot of posts on that day. November 16th, another day the defense mentioned about Facebook posts. In that Facebook post on November 16th, she says, I hate Peru State big time. So those are all the posts that the defense had us look at. Now, that November 15th post, they actually had told us in the courtroom to look at it ourselves. They said they don't want to say what the November 15th post was. They wanted us to look at it ourselves and come to a determination of what we thought. Now, I read all y'all those November 15 posts. And because of all those November 15 posts, that's why the jury, that's why they were trying to convince the jury that something could be going on really with Ty mentally. Like, as if she was unstable. You know, that's what they really were just basically trying to make the jury believe. Instead of her dying at the hands of Joshua that night, when he claimed he left her at the Missouri River in the middle of the night with no coat, no purse, no money, no ID, no nothing, they claimed that she could have possibly committed suicide and just jumped in the river after he left her. And they claimed some of those Facebook posts is reason enough to believe that that could be true. They also brought up the fact that November 28th, she was in a car with her cousin Jade, who also attends Peru, the one who was out searching for her, you know, with her friend that night when Ty texted said that she was lost. They were on their way back to Peru. It was Jade, it was Ty and Ty's mom. But when Jade turned a certain direction, Ty was like, where are you going? And Jade told her she was going to get her boyfriend, Ryan. And they said Ty refused to ride in the same car with Ryan. So she was like, drop me off. They said she got really upset and, you know, just refused to ride in the car. Now, they go back to some more Facebook posts. November 29th. Let me scroll up. November 29th. Okay. November 29th. The defense said, November 29th, there was a Facebook post saying that she said liquor brings out the dark side of her and she thinks she needs rehab. Now, I'm looking at the post on November 29th on Facebook, and the post says, actually, I got a confession. And then on that, on the comment section, after she said, I got a confession, that was the main post, it says, laughing my effing ass off right now. Shit, either you cool with me and Rebecca Rello, I just found out that liquor brings out my dark side and that I'm addicted to the feeling I get from it. Ha ha ha. I think I need rehab. Then she says, laugh out loud, girl, I get told all the time I drink too much and I drank Paul and smoke a black. I think I should chill on the bunk as Omaha parties, laughing my fucking ass off. No, but I'm still feeling sick. And then there were some more comments on there. It says, no, I want to see before we get drunk. She wants to get wasted, but she needs to slow down a little bit. When she get drunk, though, she wants to dance. And then she also says, I would have. She wants to do some damage this weekend, and she's pumped up, and she wants to party like a rock star. So that's another Facebook post that the defense brought in in its closing arguments. They also brought in another post, November 5th, the same day, November 29th. She had posted that. Here it is. She had posted, guess what, world? I love myself and I'm officially have fallen in love. Then there was another post that says I'm speechless. I don't know why they brought up those posts right there, and I don't know. I don't know. And then on November 30th, she had posted, "Do I ever cross your mind anytime?" Anybody who knows anything about R&B, you know that was Brian McKnight. Brian McKnight. Let's see what else they said. December. Okay, on this November 29th, she had posted. Oh yeah, that's what they were trying to say. They think that when she posted that Brian McKnight lyric or whatever, that she's probably referring to Nick, the guy that they think was the father of her child. On December 2nd, they said she deleted 107 friends from her Facebook. Now, December 2nd, remember, was the night before she went missing. So again, the defense is trying to prove that she has some mental issues, acting bipolar, making all these crazy posts on Facebook, deleted 107 friends from her Facebook. They thought that she was stressed out because she's pregnant. They thought she was involved with different guys. They also said that she had told BG that he was the father of her child, but told Monica that Andre, this other guy, was the father. And Monica, Chloe, and Shariah said that she was dating Nick, even though Nick said on the stand that they were not dating and that they were never boyfriend and girlfriend. He even said they never had sex before, but all three of her friends claimed that she was dating Nick. And she also told Chloe that she was dating Jarrell. So they had reason to believe that she was involved with at least three different guys and pregnant at the same time. And because of all those Facebook posts, again, they're thinking, oh, she probably was suicidal. She done jumped in the river. You know, after Josh left her down at the river, she jumped in the river. Still makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. Now, remember, Ty was intoxicated that night. We done talked about that a lot. She was intoxicated. One of her friends, Jana, who was on the dance team with her, said Ty was drinking, and she was also drinking a lot of other people's drinks. She was going around, picking up people's drinks and drinking people's drinks. Then Ty went back to Shariah and Dana's and got into a fight with her best friend, Monica. Ty called her fake. Remember, Ryan, which is Jay's boyfriend, tried to restrain her, and Ty threatened to call the cops. While Ryan was trying to restrain her, Ty kicked a hole in the wall. Monica, who she was fighting with, her best friend, she started to have a panic attack. So somebody took her in her bedroom. They said Ty tried to break down the bedroom door to get to Monica. At that point, they're asking again the defense: is she depressed? Is she bipolar? Is she mental? She had 2 fights that night. She was drinking. Now, a little bit of the timeline from the defense. They said around 1:04 a.m. to 1:09 a.m., Ty was walking through the campus, and they know because of the Wi-Fi, because she was connecting to several hotspots on the campus, and they also seen her a few times on the dorm camps. At 1:15 a.m., some of the girls, including Jerica, had said that they saw her walking, but Jerica wouldn't offer a ride because, again, the same reason Jerica gave Josh why she didn't want to look for Ty when they found out she was missing was because she don't like Ty. So she's like, yeah, I saw her, but I ain't picking her up. I just kept going. Then they said Ty saw Josh on Park Avenue when he was leaving the dorm to go smoke, as he claimed, at the river. They claim at 2:17 a.m. he texts Haley asking did she go out. That's the one who actually said she wasn't going out. She was studying. She was in the computer lab. Now, around 1:24 a.m., we had talked about that earlier. Ty had texted her ex, Darrell, who lived in Omaha. At 1:25 a.m., Darrell texts Ty back. Then Ty texts Dana and Jenna. Remember, she texted all her friends saying the same thing. I am lost and I'm trying to find myself. At 1:36 a.m., Josh claims he picked up Ty at that stop sign on Park. 42 a.m., they figure that's about the time that Ty and Josh would have arrived at the river. At 2:09 a.m., Josh was seen on the Peru Bank the Peru Bank there, on the way to the river. He was seen on their cameras, his truck driving south. At 2:13 a.m., Josh texted Jerica and lied about being sick, drunk, showered, and went to bed. But he was seen at 2:09 a.m. By the Peru Bank cameras heading south to the river with Ty. At 2:13 a.m., he texted Jerica, though, and lied about being sick, throwing up, showering, going to bed. Josh didn't tell the truth because he thought Ty was going to accuse him of rape. That was his explanation for lying for 3-4 days to investigators, to her friends, for telling people that he wasn't with her or didn't see her. 2:15 a.m., he tells somebody else he's in the shower. 2:42 a.m., he tells Jerica he's going for a ride and asks if she want to go. Again, she's like, I don't want to go. I don't like Ty. I don't want to go look for Ty. And Jade knocked on his door. Remember, Jade knocked on his door around that time. They are claiming that, the prosecutors are claiming that the reason why, even though he told Jerica he was drunk, he was going to bed, he took a shower, the reason why he claimed that he called Jerica again or contacted her again and asked if she want to help him look for Ty was because he needed to bring somebody down there to see Ty and witness her going crazy. This is what the defense is trying to say. That the reason why he called Jerica to go down there was because he needed a witness. He needed Jerica to see that Ty wasn't raped, that he wasn't trying to rape her or anything like that. That's what they're claiming. But Jerica was like, I don't want to go. At 3:15 a.m., he's seen again on the Peru Bank cam heading down south again to the river. He claims he was coming back from the river. Like when he went down to the river twice, they saw him on the camera. I said this before. They saw him on the camera twice. He went south twice. They saw him on the Peru Bank cam twice, right? Twice going south to the river. But they never seen him on the cams coming back. Never seen him on the cams coming back. What his excuse was? He claims he accidentally took a wrong turn. Then he claimed that he had asked Jade, where all have they looked for Ty? And he said they told him they didn't look at the cemetery and they didn't look at the river. So he claimed he went to the cemetery because Jade said they haven't checked the cemetery or the river. At 3:58 a.m., Josh calls Jade and says he hears voices in Whitney and Ty's room, but when Jade and them get there, it's just Whitney and her boyfriend. They saying that he said that because he's still trying to buy time and make it seem like Ty was actually at the campus and not at the river where the prosecutors think he left her. Again, he was scared. He was in trouble if something happened to Ty. Remember he mentioned that? We listened to it on the recording the other day. He told the police, could we please go off record? When they were interviewing him and recording him, he said, can we please go off record? Would I be in trouble if I left Ty at the river and something happened to her after I left? And they was like, well, something like what? And they was like, are you sure we're not going to find no DNA on her? He said, no. You're not going to find no DNA in her. The only DNA that you might find is my DNA on the back of her butt when he put his hands down her butt when he claims that she was, giving him a hand job. He claimed he had a gun in the car, but he asked his friend to hold it for him because he didn't want to get kicked out of school. That's what the defense is saying. But the prosecutors are saying he asked that friend to hold that gun for him and hide it because he probably used it on Ty. Now, remember the other day I told you that there was a jailmate who had actually confessed that, or I won't say confessed, but he said in court under oath, his name was Corey Pfeiffer, that Josh had told him when they were jailmates that he had killed a black girl in Peru he dumped her body in the river, and that they would never ever be able to excuse me, convict him of that. Now, the defense is saying that guy Corey is a meth head. Why should they trust him? Plus, he testified 7 years too late. And they're trying to say, he's a meth head. He probably got something out of it. But the guy claims he didn't get anything out of it but gas money to get to court. That's what he claims. So they're trying to make the jury, feel like he's a meth head. He claimed he testified 7 years too late. Now, the reason why Corey claims he testified 7 days or told somebody 7 years too late, because he claimed he didn't really, people in jail, they tell stories trying to make it seem like they this or they that, or, hard, they done did a crime. You said, did anybody comment on those posts? Oh, yeah, people were commenting on those posts, Deanna. Her friends on the Facebook post, yeah, people were commenting on their Facebook post. But I'm sorry, I'm just now seeing your text messages. I don't know why. I know why, because I got my chat on top chat instead of live chat. That's why I wasn't seeing your comments. My bad. And where was I at? Oh yeah. The defense said, there was no blood, there was no DNA at the campsite or in his truck. Yeah, he had a gun, but he told his friend to hold it because he didn't want to get kicked out of school. Remember, there were footprints at the boat ramp. There were drag marks. The police, and they even said this, the prosecutors and defense both agreed. Matter of fact, that's two things they agreed on. They agreed the first thing that Ty was probably dead. That's what they did agree on. And then the second thing that they agreed on was that the police did a botch job. The investigators did a botch job when they started investigating this. Like the footprints that was near the drag marks at the river's edge. Nobody checked the footprints. Nobody compared them to Joshua's shoes or anybody else's shoes. They didn't check all of the school cameras. It was just a lot of things that they didn't check, that they didn't do. So that's the defense. She's suicidal. She's depressed. She's pregnant. She's messing with different guys. She might not know who her baby's father is. She's an emotional wreck. So when Joshua said that he took her down to the river to smoke weed, he did leave her there. That's what the defense is saying. He did leave her there, and after he left her there, she either got so cold for only having jeans and a t-shirt on in December when it was really freezing by the Missouri River that she either got hypothermia, she got disoriented, and she fell in the river. Their other option is she was suicidal, depressed, bipolar, and all these things going on in her life, and she just jumped in the river. That's what the defense is saying. Now, if y'all been following this story and y'all been listening to everything I said, if y'all been watching what's on the news and what they've been reporting and everything, y'all might agree with me that doesn't make it, it's not really believable that she just jumped in the river. Like, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick, but I'm just gonna reiterate. That was an alarm on my phone. I'm gonna reiterate the timeline, but I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna make it real quick for those who might have just came in, or those who haven't followed all my videos. Okay. The night that Ty disappeared, December 3rd, 2010. Ty, she was drinking. She was intoxicated. She went to several parties. She got upset with one of her friends, Mynika. They got into an argument. They fought. One of her friend's boyfriend, her cousin Jay's boyfriend, Ryan, he restrained her, held her against the wall, tried to keep, because she was having a temper tantrum, they were saying. She was going off. He let her go because Ty threatened to call the cops if he wouldn't let her go because he was restraining her. She took off. They don't know where she went, but she said, I'm going back to Omaha. They don't know if she went to Omaha. She tried to get a ride to Omaha. They just know she was mad. She was pissed off at her best friend, and she was going back to Omaha. Now, Josh and Jerica and Jacob, they went to some parties that night. This is after Josh came back from where he said earlier to 3 different people, 3 different stories. There's so many stories he done said. He was in Nebraska City. He was at the movies. He was coming back to some parties. He also told somebody he was drunk. He threw up on himself. He took a shower. He also told somebody else that he was going to smoke. Oh yeah, he was going to smoke weed with Jerica and Jacob. So when Ty, just picture with me, just walk with me. Ty's pissed off. She leaves her friend's, house, dorm, whatnot. She's pissed off. I'm going to Omaha. I'm going back to Omaha, where she lives, up here with us. I'm going back to Omaha. On the way, Josh, Jerica, and Jacob sees Ty walking. Josh, Jacob, and Jerica is on their way to Jerica's house to get high. They done found them some weed. They about to go to Jerica's house and get high. That's the plan. But they saw Ty. Now, the plan changed, but only Josh knew the plan. He gets to Jerica's house. Jerica and Jacob jump out. They said Josh peeled out. He just peeled out. They don't know where he was going. They didn't know. Ty, she goes heading to her dorm. They see her on camera. They see her on several cameras. Her phone is pinging. It's hitting hot spots. So she's still at the doggone dorm at that time on campus. Now, Josh, after lying for days, saying he wasn't with Ty, he didn't take her anywhere. They weren't together. He didn't see her, after they saw her on the street walking. After days, he finally confesses that he was with Ty. He claims after he dropped off Jerica and Jacob, he was driving to the river to get high. Why was he driving to the river to get high when him, Jacob, and Jerica just got some weed, and the plan, the intention was to go to Jerica's house to smoke weed? But now, after he dropped them off and bailed out, he's driving to the river to smoke weed. He sees Ty walking again. Ty, he claims, runs up to his truck, his SUV, jumps in the back of his truck, eventually climbs over the seat. She's begging him, please take me to Omaha. Please take me to Omaha. He's like, I'm not taking you to Omaha. Do you got some gas money? No, I ain't got no gas money. Well, I ain't taking you to Omaha. It's too far. It's late at night. You ain't got no gas money. I'm not taking you to Omaha. He goes on towards the river. They see him on the Peru bank cameras going south towards the river. They get down to the river. Josh claims that she still was asking him, can you take me to Omaha? Can you take me to Omaha? He's like, then he says she starts flirting with him, being flirtatious, tugging on his ear, touching him in between his legs, grabbing on his crotch, just acting seductive, flirtatious. This is what he's saying. Mind you, everybody knows in their circle that them two do not get along. They hate each other. They can't stand each other. He be cussing her out, calling her bitches every time they get into an argument. They are very combative, like oil and water. They've always, the people's like, we don't even know when it started. That's how long they've hated each other. So these two people who hate each other, she jumps in his car, asks him to take her to Omaha. He says no. She starts being flirtatious, rubbing on his stuff, playing in his hair and his ears, and then offers him sex to take her to Omaha. But he claims that she said after, I give you some sex, taking Omaha, that she said, but it gotta wait. because I'm on my period. He claims that he said, well, you might be on your period, but there's other things that you can do. He was meaning a blowjob. He claims that she said, I don't do that, or I don't know how to do that. So he settled for a hand job. Now, he claims that she said, if I give you a hand job, please don't put nothing on my hand. Please don't get it on me. He claims, drink. So gets real dry. He's just talking. So he claims that he told her, I won't get it on your hands. I got some brown paper napkins right here in the middle of my console. I'll wipe it up with that. He also claims that if they find any DNA on her, if they were ever to find her, the only DNA would be down the back of her pants, because he said while she was doing whatever, he reached in the back of her pants to touch her butt. They said, and you didn't go no further? You didn't reach all the way down? He said, no, she said she was on her period. That's what he's claiming. Now, after all that is done, Josh claimed he got out the truck. He walked behind the truck. He started smoking weed, getting high. He yelled and told her, I'm not taking you to Omaha. She got mad, jumped out the car, started screaming and going off at him. Why you playing with me? Woo, take me to Omaha. Or he claimed she said, if you don't take me to Omaha, I'm going to say that you tried to rape me. This is what he's saying. So after that, he was like, man, basically, come on, I'm not taking you to Omaha. Let's just get back in the car. And then she don't want to go. She gets mad. She starts swinging at him. This is what he's claiming. She starts swinging at him. He's backing up. His back is towards the water because he's, smoking. He's behind his truck. The back of the truck is facing the water, the river's edge. He's behind the truck, smoking. He claims he backed towards the water while she's swinging and stuff like that. He eventually says she threw her phone at him. He looks back. He don't see the phone. That's what he claims. He gets to his car, opens the door, and says, come on, let's go. I'm taking you back to Omaha. If you don't get in the car, I'm going to leave you here. She don't have no coat, no hat, no gloves, no purse, no ID, no nothing. He claims he's going to leave her if she don't get in the car. He claims she said, F you. I'll walk all the way to Omaha. So he jumps in the car and leaves her. Now, everybody that night, state troopers, police, her cousins, her friends, everybody that night looking for her. He ain't tell nobody that he was with her at the river. He didn't say nothing. That was on the 3rd. He was interviewed once, twice, 3 times. Even did a written statement saying he wasn't with her. Then on December 7th, when they said, we're going to track your phone, we can track you and Ty's phone and find out if y'all are together, blah, 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 blah. And that's when he confessed and gave him that story that he left her down there. And that the reason why he didn't say anything, why all these people was running around Peru looking for her, was because he was afraid that she was going to say he tried to rape her. And that's his story. So y'all heard the defense side of why they think she's missing? Because she was depressed, suicidal, mental issues. She either got froze, hypothermia, disoriented, fell in the river, or she was suicidal and jumped in the river. That's what the defense was trying to make the jury believe. And then the prosecutors, of course, they're claiming his full intention was to go down to that river with Ty and for Ty to never return from that river. And he killed her. So, y'all done heard my reviews. This is like the 6th video I've done. Y'all done heard the closing statements. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the case. Now, there's still nobody. That's like The one thing the defense got in they corner, that there's no body. But like the prosecutors told the jury, there's been many cases where somebody has disappeared and the body hasn't been found, but there's still enough proof to prove that there was murder by whoever. So, with that being said, at around 3:30 p.m. today, the judge told the jury all the instructions. Some of the things they could charge him with is first-degree murder, second-degree murder. What else? Oh, crime of passion, that he killed her in passion. It was so many things that the judge said that if you answer yes to this and no to this, then you gotta say this. He's guilty of this. You know how they do. The judge tells them specifically, if y'all can't answer this about this, then you gotta say he's innocent. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of options that they had. They're deliberating right now. The judge, they started about 3:30 today, and the judge said if they haven't come to a decision, a united decision by 7 p.m. today, that they will reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So we're going to go back down there tomorrow at 9 a.m. and see what happens. There was nothing decided today with the jury. No guilty, no innocent, nothing. So I don't know exactly what time actually we're going to get there, because they're going to reconvene at 9. So we were like thinking, should we go at 9? Should we be there by 9? Should we? So we got a plan though. We got a plan, because just in case it takes like hours or most of the day, we got a plan. We're going to do this. We're going to go here, just to kill time, while the jury is deliberating, and see if they come to a united decision tomorrow on a guilty verdict or, not guilty verdict or whatnot. But whatever happens, y'all know I'm going to update you on on what's going on. So again, you guys make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, please and thank you very much. And don't forget when you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because if you don't hit the notification bell, then you won't receive the notifications when we about to go live or when we upload a video. So after you hit the subscription bell, make sure you hit the notification bell. Thank you so very much. And everybody, I know it's late. For y'all who've been riding with me this time of night, Deanna, you said you have a good night. Thank you, love. You have a good night as well. Thank you so much. Oh, and by the way, I already called 2 hotels. I don't know what hotels Miss Pam called, that she said they might be not taking no more reservations or whatever for the family, the reunion, the WGQ reunion. But I called several hotels and they gave me different prices, and they said they got plenty of space. So I'm gonna update you tomorrow on those hotels that I called, so you can let the people know. But yeah, so everybody else, again, share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. And in the meantime and in between time, Primetime Squad and my The Hood Table Squad, stay safe, be blessed, and I'm out. Deuces.